All right, we are open up to page 491 and 492 in our math workbooks, and we are going to get started with correcting last night's homework. So, like I said, the online book, for whatever reason, isn't wanting to work, so here it is in my book. I'll go through and read the numbers because they aren't very bright up on the smartboard. So you had number 1, 2, 6, and 7 on the first page. So for number 1, we were going through and we were doing exactly what we did in our notes yesterday. It was up to you if you wanted to use the actual grid to find your answer, or if you just wanted to take the 1/4 times 1/4. When we multiply that, we would multiply the 1 and the 1, the numerators, to get 1 as the numerator in our answer, and then 4 by 4 to get the 16 as our denominator for 1/16 square yard. Now, this is another way you can write your answer, 5th grade. Instead of doing yard with the little 2 at the top, which is yard squared, you could put square yards. Either one of those works. So that's number 1. Then we had number 2. So number 2 is the same thing. We were taking 3/4 times 5/6. Now, you may have just counted out all of the different cubes and squares inside that were filled in and gotten that answer and simplified it. But if we actually do the math, 3/4 times 5/6, we would take 3 times 5 for 15 as our numerator. Then 4 times 6 is 24 as our denominator for 15/24. However, when we have 15/24, we can simplify that by dividing the 15 and the 24 by 3. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So we would get 5/8 square inches, or inches squared. Other questions on 1 or 2? All right. Then we had number 6. So number 6 was a word problem. It said, find the area of a square with a side length of 3/4 of a yard. So again, since it's a square, if we know one side length, we know all of them. So we would take 3/4 times 3/4, and that would get us 9/16. And there isn't a number that we can divide both 9 and 16 by, so 9/16 square yards, or yards squared, would be our answer. Questions on number 6? Okay. Then we had number 7. So for number 7, we were supposed to find the area of a rectangle with a side length of 5/4 feet and 5/3 of a foot. So when we take 5/4 times 5/3, we end up with 25/12. But then we can simplify that by converting it into a mixed number, because 12 goes into 25 twice, and 12 times 2 gets us 24. So we would need 1 more to get to 25. So that 1 would be our numerator. I'm going to keep 12 as the denominator. So 2 and 1/12 square foot as our answer for number 7. How did we feel about the first page? 1 through 5, how did you feel about this first page of homework? Okay. How did we feel? Okay. All right. Then let's look at page 492. So on 492, you had number 10 and 13. So we'll start with number 10 first. And I'll try to zoom in on number 10 a little bit more. All right. So for number 10. There we go. Mike is making macaroni salad. For each bowl of macaroni salad, he needs 1/3 cup of macaroni. How many cups of macaroni will he use if he makes 27 bowls of macaroni salad? So what we need to do is take the amount of macaroni he uses per bowl and multiply it by the amount of bowls he's using. So we would take 27 times 1/3. So when we do that, and I'll show it on a Post-it actually, when we do that, we would take 27, maybe I'll zoom out just a little bit. There we go. We would take 27 times 1/3. Now, we know when we're multiplying a fraction by a whole number, we put the whole number over 1 before we multiply. Well, 27 times 1 is 27, and 1 times 3 is 3. Well, right now, this is an improper fraction, so then we need to turn it into a mixed number by thinking, how many times does 3 go into 27? Well, it goes in 9 times equally, nothing left over. So 9 is our answer. So 9 cups of macaroni is how much you would need for that salad. How did we feel about number 10? How did we feel about number 10? 1 through 5, how did we feel about number 10? Okay. Number 10, awesome. Okay. Eosius, why don't you go ahead and correct number 10 in your workbook, and then I'll bring it back to the previous page for you to do those numbers. Okay. 9 cups of macaroni. And make sure you have at least cups as your unit. You don't need cups of macaroni, even though it's more descriptive, but 9 cups would work. Well, 9 is more than 1, so you want to put the S. Okay, then we had number 13. So 5th grade, for number 13, it said, zoomed in, there we go. All right, Colby attends barber school. So far, he has completed 612 hours. If Colby attended school the same number of hours each day for a total of 68 days, we'll turn around, how many hours did he attend school each day? So we would need to take the amount of hours he's attended and divide it by the amount of days he attended to figure out how many hours per day is he attending. So if we take 612 and divide it by 68, we end up with 9, or 9 hours. How do we feel about number 13? Number 13, 1 through 5, how do we feel? Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to the other page for Eosius to correct his homework. Show me 1 through 5, how did you feel about this assignment as a whole? How did you feel about it as a whole? 1 through 5, how did you feel about it as a whole? Okay, go put your hands down. Yep, so Eosius, number 1 is 1/16 square yard. Number 2, it's 3/4 times 5/6 equals 15/24, which then we can simplify to 5/8. Number 6, you should have wound up with 9/16 square yard. And then number 7, you would get 25/12, which then, since that's an improper fraction, we can convert into the mixed number 2 and 1/12 square feet. And I told everyone, you'll sometimes see square feet instead of feet with the little 2. That's the same thing. So it's up to you how you want to write it. You can write square feet or feet squared. Either one works. All right. So that's it for our correcting homework video. Let's open up to the next clean page in our notebooks for our notes.